Hello and welcome to another episode of Salary Voodoo. It is I, your host Monk, aka the Monkmatician, and in this very episode taking place on the MMA engine, we're going to break down 3 fights from a Salary Voodoo perspective for UFC 275, headlined by Glover Teixeira, Yuri Prochazka, in a co-main event with the women's flyweight strap on the line, Valentina Shevchenko going against Taila Santos. So guys, before we get into it, please like the video, subscribe to the MMA Engine channel. You guys are killing it and we absolutely love it. We thank you so much. We are so close to that 1,000 subscriber number that we're just striving to get for, and you guys are killing it out there, so thank you so much. What else? What is Salary Voodoo? First of all, it is a different way of constructing lineups, kind of looking at it from a probability heavy type side of things, mainly for GPP contests. I'll let you know if I like any of these plays for cash as we go along, but these this breakdown and these numbers are for GPP tournaments. That's mostly what we focus on here on this show. So it's just a different way to look at some information that we have that's not readily available to the public to help you build those lineups and construct a great one to get those takedowns for UFC 275. So without further ado, guys, we'll keep this to about 10-15 minutes. Let's get right into it. And of course, you probably noticed I'm not in my usual setup. I am traveling this week here, my lovely parents' house in Texas. Had to stunt on them a little bit, filming it outside by the pool. So I wish you all the best because I am having a great week this week for 275. So first fight that we're going to talk about is going to be Jack Della Maddalena going against Ramazan Emeev. This one was picked by our guy David Dennett over on YouTube. We absolutely love having you, and thank you so much for your contribution to the show. He also picked our second fight of the card that we're going to talk about, so thank you, David. This one is at welterweight, 170 pounds. Jack Della is going to be 8,200. Ramazan Emeev, $8,000. This is going to be the closest lined fight that we have on the DraftKings slate. 43.82% of the time a welterweight fight happens, someone from that fight makes the optimal. That is a pretty low number. Fight number 8, which is what this fight is currently slated as, 50.82%, so we are above that 50% number, which is where we want to be. And the salary pair of $8,200 and $8,000, when paired together, someone from those salaries makes the optimal 55.7% of the time. These are great numbers, at least the last two for sure. So I'm looking already. I mean, Bernie's peeking his head out, you guys can tell, so we'll see if we get the whole face or not. We'll start with the 8,200 side, Jack Della. 12 out of 53 times that salary's been used, it has made the optimal lineup at a percentage of 22.64. That's not a great percentage. It's actually pretty low, to be quite honest. As you could imagine, I mean, 22% is not very high no matter what metric you're using. But in this case, it is low. 8,200, the favorite salary, over the dog salary of 8,000, only has a win percentage of 45.28, guys. This is very low again for the 8,200. And then when it does win, it makes the optimal 45, almost 46% of the time. These are subpar numbers as far as salaries go. And when it does win, it scores an average of 92.81 points, pretty low as well. So you're like, okay, that you're saying that's low, but what do we compare it to? Well, let's look at the other side of the chart here. $8,000, so you save $200 for Ramazan Emeev, whom I actually like in this fight over Jack Della anyways, but that's beside the point. 17 times this salary has made the optimal lineup, being used only 53, so it's being used the same amount as the 8,200, and it's made the optimal 5 more times. 32.08 optimal percent, that is almost 10% better than its counterpart, has a win percentage of 52.83, 7.5 points higher than its favorite counterpart, 8,200. So in this case, the dog salary has a better record over the favorite salary. Something to keep in mind. You can save a little bit of salary here with that, $200. It could come in handy when you're trying to get that last place in your lineup. Try not to move the mic too close. Hopefully it's not too windy. You can hear this. 60.71% of the time the $8,000 salary wins, it makes the optimal fantastic number, and it does score 94.11 when it wins. What do we got, guys? What do we got? What do we think? I'm thinking this one is a Bernie. Definitely has to be a Bernie. The $8,200 salary I'm not impressed with, but Jack Della Maddalena did look impressive. in his first fight in the UFC. Now, that was against Pete Rodriguez. The guy had like 4 professional fights, got finished in the first round. I'm not trying to diss Pete Rodriguez, but not sure he was quite ready for that level of competition. I don't know why I'm looking at my mic and talking. I should be looking right here. But I like the Ramazan Emeev side. I like, you know, the upside here. I like the wrestling upside, the fact that it could go to decision. You know, if he can survive against Jack Della in the early minutes, this is going to be a decent spot. I like the $8,000 side a ton, and the Salary Voodoo backs me up. So this one is going to be a Bernie. Love this fight for GPPs. I will have a ton of it going in. Second fight, going to be brought to us by David Dennett. Like I said previously, thank you again, David. A huge help and big contribution to this show and the MMA engine. We got Brendan Allen going against Jacob Malkoun. Big salary difference here, 9,000 and 7,200. This one is going to be taking place at middleweight, 185 pounds. 54.76% of the time a middleweight fight happens, someone from that fight makes the optimal. A fantastic number. This currently is fight number 7. Right before the first fight we looked at, 40.98%, so a much different rate between 7 and 8. This one is about 15 points, maybe 10 to 15 points less. I don't remember exactly what that number was, but 41% fight number 7, somebody makes it to the optimal. And the salary pair of 9,000 and 7,200, fantastic. I think it's like the third best that we have, 58.49%. So 2 of these numbers well over 50%. And the fight, which could change between now and Saturday, is the only lackluster number we're looking at here. So I like that we're off to such a good start already. Let's take a look at these salaries. We'll start with the Jacob Malkoun side. 7,200 has been used 54 times, and it's made the optimal 12 times. That's just as many as the $8,000 salary, if you can remember. And I believe the 8,200, I think they had the same amount of times, maybe. Let's look before I... Nope, 8,000 was 17. So 7,200 has made the optimal the same amount of times as 8,200. 12 out of 54, 22.22% rate. It has a win percentage of just 29.63, so a bit lower than you would hope for, but it is a very cheap salary. 7,200, that is towards the very low end of the spectrum. When it does win, guys, it makes the optimal lineup 75% of those times. 3 out of 4 times it wins, it makes the optimal. That is a fantastic rate, one of the highest we have, and it scores 97.43 points per win. So great numbers from a big dog salary here. In fact, it's one of the best Salary Voodoo plays you can make, between about 7,000 and 7,800, something like that. So it's a very, very good dog salary to use from a probability standpoint. Now, Brendan Allen at 9,000. This is one of the better high-end salaries that we have. It pretty much goes 9,000, you know, 9,200's decent, 9,500's excellent, but 9,000 is right up there, making the optimal 19 out of 53 uses. That is a 35.85 percentage. That is one of the biggest percentages on the card. An absolutely fantastic number. That just says 36% of the time the $9,000 salary is played, it makes the optimal lineup. Just a great percentage there. Has a win rate of 69.81%, so just under 70%. But when it does win, it makes the optimal 51.35% of the time. This is a fantastic number for such a high salary. So we have great statistics for the $9,000 salary. Scores 97.55 on average per win. Guys, you know where we're going with this. David, you picked 2 bangers, baby. 2 Bernies from David Dennett. We appreciate that. This one is too good to pass up, guys. You got to play the $9,000 side for all the reasons I just said, but you also have to play the $7,200 side because it's one of the best dog salaries you have. Now, you get the benefit with Malkoun this week. If this one goes 15 minutes, there's no way he doesn't score a ton of points, even if he loses, because he's a takedown heavy, grapple heavy, 6 points a minute type scorer. So you want to have Jacob Malkoun in your lineups. It's going to open up your top end salary to get a couple of those guys. If you want Valentina Shevchenko, who I'm going to be fading in this one at 9,600, too expensive for GPPs. But if you want to go that route, otherwise you can drop down to easily get the $9,200 guy, $9,100 guy. I mean, this is going to be cake. So you got to have Malkoun, not cake, but it's going to be easy to get Malkoun and some other expensive people in your lineup. And if you're on the Brendan Allen side, he's only 9,000. He's like the 4th most expensive fighter. So looking good there. Love this fight from a GPP point. Thank you, David Dennett. Next and final fight, guys. Before we do that, please like the video, subscribe to the MMA Engine channel, and head on over to the Monkmatician channel as well. Check out my game theory video, which went out on Sunday. You guys are the best. We are going to talk about it. In fact, I forgot who this was. Picked by Mork Tenderloin. Thank you, Mork Tenderloin. $9,600 for Valentina Shevchenko, going up against $6,600 for Taila Santos. Now, I'm glad this one was picked, guys. I wanted to go on my diet tribe about the $9,600 salary. I try to do it once a month to try to save you some salary relief. So the women flyweights fight. Wow, I can't say it. You know what I mean. Someone from that weight class makes the optimal lineup 54% of the time they fight. It is the absolute highest number for any weight class. Heavyweights, light heavyweights, featherweights, doesn't matter. Women's flyweight has the highest percentage of making the optimal lineup. 54.17%. Gotta love it. This is currently the co-main event. Not going to change. Fight number 11. Unless we lose a fight. Knock on, wood. 56.14% of the time someone from the 11th fight makes the optimal. A great number. And the salary pair, here's where the tables turn. Of 96 and 6,600, someone only makes the optimal from those fights 25% of the time. That is, I think, the lowest number out of all salary pairs that DraftKings offers. So 2 great numbers and 1 very bad number. Let's get into the salaries here. Actually, we're going to start with Shevchenko. 9,600 has been used 12 times since January 1st, 2021, and it's made the optimal lineup only 1 time, guys. That's a percentage of 8.33%. Meanwhile, it has a win rate of 83.33%, giving it an optimal rate in wins of just 10%. This is the lowest number on the card. In fact, all of these numbers, except the win rate, are the lowest numbers out of any salary DraftKings offers, guys. The truth is the $9,600 salary is simply too expensive to make the optimal lineup. It's only happened once. That was Marvin Vettori against Kevin Holland, and he put up like 150. So if you think Shevchenko's going to put up 130, 140, 150, put her in your GPP lineups. But to me, she is too expensive. And until this backfires, I will continue to fade the $9,600 fighters and suggest that my watchers and listeners do the same. Now, it does score 105.34 average points per win. Fantastic numbers, but still, it's way too low to make the optimal at that salary. 6,600 for Taila Santos has been used 12 times and has made the optimal two of those times, if I can speak. 16.67%, double the percentage rate of Valentina in this one. 16.67% win rate as well. Just filling in from that 83.33%. But when the $6,600 salary does win, which has happened twice since 1/1/21, it has made the optimal, obviously, in both of those fights. Guys, this salary is the opposite. It is so low that if it even sniffs a win, the chances of making the optimal are near 100%. And if it does get that win, I mean, you're looking at pretty much a guarantee at that point. And it actually, when it does win, scores 107.32. These are 2 of the best numbers on the card with DraftKings points per win. But here's the deal, guys. We got ourselves a jack. Obviously, what else could it be? After comparing that one to the first 2 fights, it cannot be a Bernie. No offense to Shevchenko, but it's not her fault. DraftKings made her 9,600. But again, that salary is far too expensive. Like I said, until I'm proven wrong, I just don't. I'm going to continue to fade it. I'll play her in like 10% of my lineups, but that, 10 to 20 tops. But that is it. It's just seemingly too expensive. So we're going to ride this fade out until it bites us in the ass. On the other side, Taila Santos, I don't mind getting her in some lineups. Maybe double of what I'm putting Valentina in case something crazy does happen. If I'm playing 10% Valentina, maybe I'll play 15% Taila. It's going to open up my top end of the salary, and if something crazy does happen, I'm not going to be completely at 0%. So give me, that's kind of how I'm playing this. I do like Valentina for cash, for sure. $9,600. I don't have a problem with paying in cash. But as far as GPP goes, until I'm proven wrong, I'm going to keep the fade alive. So there you have it, guys. 3 fights. We got them covered. Poolside, baby. Me and Lord Quaz, we are running Texas right now. I've been doing nothing but bumping Bumby, Scarface. I know I'm not in Houston, but we're getting chopped and screwed out here. No problem. It's fantastic. The weather's great. I'm going to go enjoy myself. But before I do, let's recap our fights. We got a Bernie with Jack Della and Ramazan Emeev. Love that fight for GPPs, and I like the Ramazan Emeev side to straight up win. So this could be an interesting test for Jack Della. Let's check it out. Fight number 2, also a Bernie. heavy takedown guy, Jacob Malkoun. You got to get him in your lineups for that reason, especially if this fight gets extended. But Brendan Allen could end the fight or just extend it himself and score pretty well. Both salaries great for GPP. We got ourselves a Bernie. Fight number 3, Frozen Jack. It's the opposite of me. I am unfrozen here in Texas, but we are freezing it up on Valentina and Taila Santos. I'll be heavier on the Taila side, and Valentina might be one of my lowest exposed fighters this week. 9,600 is too much, and I'll continue to drive this horse train. I don't even know if that's a thing. I'm in Texas now. I'm just calling things weird names. I'm going to continue to drive this cattle herd of fading the 9,600 into the ground until I'm proven otherwise. So, big fade on that one. Thank you guys for putting up with my extremely weird Texas video that I just put out, but I appreciate it. Like the video, subscribe to the MMA Engine channel. It's me, Brady, Weezy, and Lou Betya. Subscribe to all of our stuff. Get all of us on Twitter, and we are bringing you content several times a day leading up to every single UFC card, so don't miss a single one. And as always, guys, I want all of you to enjoy the fight, so enjoy, and we will see you in the next one. Peace out.